Hey everyone, and welcome to Backseat Sports. I'm Josh and that is Caleb, and we are back with another video today, and this is different than any other video we've put on the channel so far. We were thinking about how's this year going. 2019, we're going into 2020, a brand new decade of Husker football, and we're like, what would be better than going back and looking at some of the the most important parts of Husker football in the last decade, and that's what we're doing today.
So today we're going to be breaking down our top 10 players of the 2010s thus far. Obviously, there's a few players. There's a lot of players that got left off this list.
Seriously, though.
And,
man, it was painful.
Yes, it was definitely to lose a couple of those players. And since the decade is not quite over yet,
True,
there is still a couple of players that have a chance to sneak up on this list this year.
Specifically, like, Adrian Martinez, Mo Berry, DiCaprio Boodle. Like, in theory, if they have incredible years this year, they could sneak into the best players of this decade. Without further ado, at number 10, we wanted to show some love to the pipeline. They don't always get the love they deserve. And so we have...
Especially in the 2010s.
Exactly, especially in the 2010s. And so Spencer Long sits at number 10 on our list, man. What a monster.
He was a walk-on in 2009. He ended up starting 33 straight games.
Insane, man. Was
a second-team All-American. And he got hurt his senior year, which was a bummer because he was looking at, a really high draft pick.
Yeah.
But was still ended up drafted in the third round in 2014, and he's still playing today.
Yeah, insane, man. For start 33 games as a right guard from your sophomore season to the middle of your senior season before he gets hurt, which ends his career. Like, he was the foundation of that offensive line. Incredibly important to our success in those years. And like, for him to start as a sophomore and play till his senior season, obviously deserving to be one of the best players in this past decade. So Spencer Long sits at number 10.
Now number 9, a more at home familiar name is Roy Helu Jr. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is his 307-yard rushing game against Missouri.
Seriously, though.
What can we say about this guy? Was a second-team All-Big 12 and third-team All-Big 12 as well. And then, obviously, the single-school rushing record. Just a fun back to watch. His best season was his senior season when he had 1,245 yards. He averaged 6.6 yards a carry and had 11 touchdowns. And he definitely deserved that number 9 spot.
Oh, for sure, yeah. He was just a big back with a lot of bursts, like, man, and not to mention his measurables at the combine after senior season were insane. Like 4.4 speed, tons of reps, like all over the board. Really nice measurables, and he was a great Husker player. Definitely, once again, deserving of the top 10 list. So at number 8, this is actually our only player that's currently on the team, and we decided J.D. Spielman deserved to be in the top 10. This guy, as we all know, is incredibly talented. Two-time third-team All-Big 10, literally only heading into his junior year. He's already getting looks from the NFL. Hopefully he stays for his senior year for Nebraska's sake. But if he has a big year this year, he could be moving up this list real quick. And J.D. Spielman, the burst, the explosive nature of his game. I mean, he's all over the field 24/7 when he has the ball. Anytime he touches the ball, he can end up in the end zone. And he's been a dominant force so far in his career for Nebraska, and we can only expect that he's going to do the same these next 2 years.
He also holds a single game record for 209 yards. 209 receiving yards versus Wisconsin this past year. So it's special when you can be the top of a record book. And especially 200 yards was really impressive against Wisconsin. And I think that there's plenty of room for him to beat that this year. Just with how explosive he is, I think 250-yard game is a possibility for a J.D. Spielman.
At number 7, we have our second mentioned Martinez. Taylor Martinez, incredible quarterback, almost more of a running back that played the quarterback position than a quarterback itself. But in his junior year, he went off and had an incredible year. And overall in his career, he was an extremely successful Husker and absolutely 100% deserving to be in the top 10 as well.
His completion percentage went up, 62% that junior year. Obviously, he was probably most exciting his freshman year. There was the possibility of so much potential before he got hurt.
So explosive. Oh my goodness.
So fast.
So fast before that ankle injury his sophomore year. But I mean, his junior year, he was probably the most balanced quarterback. I mean, he went for almost 2,900 yards passing and over 1,000 yards rushing, 10 rushing touchdowns, 23 passing touchdowns. So his junior year was real nice. That's when we had 10 wins. Unfortunately, some big losses. But overall, Martinez was a great player. His accuracy and decision-making was always a little bit in question, especially his decision-making. But, I mean, known for his acceleration, his speed, his ability as a ball carrier. So, awesome player. One of the favorites on this list for sure. And 100% a top 10 Nebraska player of the decade.
Number 6 on this list, we have Rex Burkhead,
Fan favorite.
who was Sexy Rexy, everybody loves him. Obviously just came off a Super Bowl win. Congrats to you, Rex Burkhead.
Yes, congrats to the Patriots.
The 2 last touchdowns in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs as well. So really cool to see him have success and win a championship when he could never get at Nebraska.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice.
For sure.
But he was a first team all Big Ten running back.
Man.
He was a 6th round pick. Man, just what a beast he was.
He's had a great career for a 6th round pick, man, in the NFL.
He was a stud. Obviously, a junior year, he had over 1,300 yards, 4.8 yards a carry. His senior season, he showed a lot of really special things, but got injured. And also was sharing touch with Ameer Abdullah, but he was averaging almost 7 yards a carry his senior year. Really can show a lot too. He's versatile, running back who can catch the ball.
Oh yeah.
And he really transformed into kind of a bruising back into a guy who's a dual threat. So which is cool.
I mean, he was known for like his like nice cuts, his lateral cuts with like without losing momentum. He could accelerate out of his cuts so well. Like, man, he was explosive, like Caleb said. Excellent hand, extremely effective in the passing game and the running game. Just versatile overall, and we saw that in the NFL now.
He could block, too.
Yeah, he was an incredible blocker, and the Patriots have loved him. He was pretty successful with the Bengals in his career as well. So, Sexy Rexy, awesome player. Number 6, you love to see it. At number 5 is, one of the more controversial players on the list, though a great player. Randy Gregory was a nasty football player. He was incredibly good.
Oh my.
First team All Big Ten 2 times, third team All American. Sophomore season, he led the Big Ten in sacks. I mean, he was explosive, dominant on the line, led that unit, and was an incredible player for Nebraska for 2 seasons.
He was a JUCO transfer, and just what he could do on the field was absolutely incredible as a defensive end. Just the way he could out-muscle offensive linemen and and just his speed moves as well. He would punish quarterbacks. He was going back and watching his highlights. It's just a reminder why the Cowboys even try to keep him around is because he's so impressive.
He definitely had his problems. He's had his problems, especially since he graduated from Nebraska. But at Nebraska, he was dominant.
Absolute monster. I'm sure you guys are seeing the highlights right now. And he was undeniably impressive.
Oh, for sure. So that leads us into our 4th best player in the last decade, which is Ameer Abdullah. Fear Ameer, again, an absolute unit. Did his work for the Huskers. 2nd round pick to the Lions, obviously, in the draft. He's first team All Big Ten, 2nd team All Big Ten in his career. He's a patient runner, extremely dominant, good vision. He could turn the corner at an elite level. Like, man, he was able to find the edge, get upfield, like, extremely dominant. Hit over 5,000 yards from scrimmage in his career, 1,900 yards from scrimmage in 2013, which 1,700 of those were rushing yards. Like, he was an absolute monster. He did massive work, like 100% deserving of a top 5 spot in the all-decade list. Like, I mean, he could not have been a more productive back for Nebraska. And it was unfortunate. If things could have gone his way, he could have walked away with a Heisman at some point in his career. But we could just never get over that ledge to even give him a real chance to have it. So,
and him getting hurt, his senior year didn't help either, sadly.
For sure.
Number 3 on the list. Now this is going back, and this is right at the beginning of the decade, and these last 3 players are right on that edge, and this is probably
foundational
the best
pieces.
Yes, the best part of Husker football and Josh and I's memory.
Sadly.
But sadly. Number 3 on this list is Alex Henry. Man, what he did in college is fantastic and phenomenal. One of the reasons why Nebraska is a close thing to Kicker University as it is. He was a first team All-American, and funny enough, but he was a 2nd team All Big 12 for 2 years. But he was a first team All-American. He won the Guy Chamberlain. The Big 12 was just a little upset that we were leaving, so they didn't give him the kicker award or whatnot. I think they gave it to the Texas kicker, funny enough. But he ended up winning the Guy Chamberlain. He was a 4th round pick as a kicker, and he had set the NCAA record for the highest percentage field goal accuracy rate at 89.5%, which is dang impressive.
He was an athlete.
He was offered a scholarship to play soccer, but denied it, and came here and played football and was one of our best kickers of all time.
Obviously, he's a legend. He's known for some of his legendary kicks, like the Colorado kick and many others, and he was a foundational piece. I mean, the special teams that year was incredible. He was a great punter and obviously a wonderful player for Nebraska football. Number 2 on the list is none other than the Prince himself, Prince Amukamara. I mean, my goodness, he was a stud. I mean, absolute island out there as a cornerback. But he was the 19th overall pick to the Giants in the 2011 draft. And, I mean, unanimous All-American, first team All-Big 12, like Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, my goodness. Truly one of the cornerstones for that defense. I mean, that defense was nice. And there might just be another player that was a teammate of his that might just be coming out at number 1. But Prince Amukamara was a beast and an absolute unit.
Yeah. By his senior season, the teams just stopped throwing his way.
Yeah.
Like, he had barely, like, he was way down on most of the stats just because teams were like, just don't throw it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
No, yeah. He was a beast, and I have no questions deserving one of the top 3 spots. So, at number 1, the man himself, Lavante David. I mean, wow. What a beast. Like, he truly was the foundation of that team. Sitting at middle linebacker, running all over the field, making plays across the field from one side to the other. He ended up being a second-round pick to Tampa Bay because, you know, they were worried about his size. He was
so
undersized
dumb.
as a 6'1",
so
as
stupid,
a 6'1",
Mel Kiper.
Yeah, thanks Mel Kiper as a 6'1" middle linebacker, and I mean he set Nebraska's single season record for 152 tackles in a season, and he was all over the field for that defense.
Yes, his senior year he won Big Ten Linebacker of the Year, 2-time first team All-American, and then obviously that first team All Big Ten and Big 12. Oh, he's not only that, he went into the NFL and was a first team All-Pro and a second team All-Pro as well. He led the whole freaking NFL in tackles, but you know, just continued to be so special.
Yeah.
And just one of the most fun players to watch. When stuff would break down, Lavante David would make it.
He was always there.
Would fix all you needed.
He was the Nebraska Band-Aid. Like, he was exactly what we needed
He
in that
was.
defense. And, I mean, he was so fast, man. He flew around that field. He was a great tackler in space, like, especially for his size. And overall was a good leader for the team as well. When it came to a player on defense, you couldn't get much better than a guy like Lavante David. And he was so much fun to watch, man. Number 1 on our spot for the best player of the decade. And I couldn't like Lavante David much more than I do.
So true.
Yeah, so that basically wraps it up for our top 10 players. I'm sure you guys might have some alternate opinions. That generally happens on the internet. But throw all of your comments down below of the guys who you think might have deserved to be in the list. We had so many guys that we wanted to put on the list. I mean, my goodness.
We should go through our honorable mentions.
Let's just fire them off, like Sam Foltz, Alfonso Dennard, Kenny Bell, Jordan Westerkamp, Andy Janovich. Take it away.
Malik Collins, Vincent Valentine, Stanley Morgan Jr., Adrian Martinez, Mo Berry, and DiCaprio Boodle.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So many good players. Like, and there's others we could even mention as well. Like my word. Like, it hurts to cut off so many great, fun, fan favorite players from the top 10. But we wanted to kind of, keep the balance and pay respects to the elite studs of the last decade. So overall, we hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, like a favorite and subscribe. Like I said, drop all your comments down below, all of your hate, all your love, and everything else. We appreciate the community and all the feedback. So, as always, guys, this has been Backseat Sports. I'm Josh. That's Caleb, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.